The absolute first brutal truth about random rec that all folks usually find out way too late, and at this point, every veteran 2K player knows, is that blackout tats, Kodak black hair, and drippy boy band face scans is not here to pass the ball or play defense. Actually, his controller only has one working button, and you guessed it, that's the shoot button. If you get matched up with this guy as one of your teammates, well, it's most certainly GG's. In a perfect world, you still have time to back out or dashboard, because the next 30 minutes of your life is gonna be hell. And if you're a vet player, well, I apologize for activating your PTSD by even mentioning this type of player, because I know that we all have been burnt by them before in the past. And the thing about these type of players that really ticks me off the most is that they are going to take every single shot, play absolutely no defense, and once they go like 0 for 6, they're gonna quit out before the second quarter even starts. Crazy work, leaving the rest of their teammates usually with a double-digit deficit and an AI with terrible tendencies and absolutely no defense, getting exploited by the other team's point guard. And the cherry on top, if you try and talk them off the ledge, they will come on the mic and have you thinking that you're the crazy one. And honestly, this right here is one you could take to the bank with you, because Kodak black hair will make you want to quit playing 2K altogether. So be mindful when you catch them in the lobby. Alright, so in this video, I want to go over 5 brutal truths about random rec that folks find out way too late in their 2K career, or can at times forget about, and it ends up leading to a bad gaming session, like with Kodak black hair. So without any more delays, let's jump back into the list with the next brutal truth that most find out too late about wrecking with random. And that is, when it comes to winning in this specific game mode, it is not about who's the more skilled team. Yes, you heard that correctly. Unfortunately, skill has very little to do with winning in random rec. Rather, the team that wins the game, most of the time, is the team with the least number of bug outs, divas, or flashy players on it. And truth be told, you can damn near tell before the end of the first quarter who's going to be winning this game. Just ask yourself, which team has everyone cutting all over the place or going for crazy dunk attempts against 2 to 3 people? That's the team that's probably going to be undoubtedly losing. No matter if you're the Mike Jordan or Kobe Bryant of 2K, there's very little you can do to overcome bad teammates. It's just the nature of the beast when it comes to randoms. So if you're going into Rec Center thinking that just because you're nice and can drop off anyone 1v1, well, you're in for a rude awakening when you see a teammate standing out of bounds or in the paint for 3 seconds, just straight mad that you're better than them at the game. The next brutal truth about Rec Center that most find out too late is that if there is a selfish bug out player out there on the court, it's usually going to be your teammate. It's like the 2K gods specifically look for the most wildest of players, and not in a good way. And they match you up with them as if you're supposed to be able to do something with that. And even if you dashboard out and queue back up for another game, you will find out that 2K has decided to give you yet another team full of goof troop members. And the wildest part will be, when you look across the court, it's the fucking 2014 Spurs or something that you're playing against. Everyone's making the right pass, shooting when they should be shooting, and no one's over dribbling. It's like they're actually playing team ball, to the point that you have to question if you're queued up for the right game mode. There's no way 2K got you teamed up with the Flint Tropics playing against the fucking 92 Dream Team. And I wish I could tell you that this is like a some of the time thing, but I don't know. For me at least, it feels like damn near 80% of the games I run with randoms, this one fact holds true. At least one of my 4 teammates woke up this morning and chose straight violence. Moving on to the next brutal truth about wrecking with randoms, and honestly, just 2K as a whole, and that is that the community is easily one of the most toxic communities in video game history to date. Second to maybe the OG Call of Duty lobbies back in the day. And I wish I was hyping it, but the community here is really bad. You either have randoms thinking that they are Jordan playing against a rookie AI and are taking every single bugged out shot imaginable, or they just completely don't give a fuck and are sitting at half court dancing for the crowd. And all of that is before they even jump on the mic, because once comms are opened, it's usually GG's at that point. Because, you know, everyone has money and gets bitches. What that had to do with 2K, I'ma never know. But these randoms always seem to bring it up once them and the rest of the goof troop get into an ego battle while we're in the process of being blown out by 20 points, after having the lead in the first half, of course. Like the name implies, random rec is going to be filled with a bunch of random-ish. Rarely will you get a string of games where your teammates are not actively trying to help the other team out by selling. But moving on to the next brutal truth on this list that most people find out too late, and that is that if you are player of the half, you can almost bet your bottom dollar that you will not be getting player of the game. And now your random teammates will start to try to ice you out. especially if your team has any type of lead. That's when the bug outs and crash outs really start to feel like you've had enough shine. Now it's time for them to get loose out there. Pause. Normally this will happen for the entire third quarter or until y'all lose that lead, at which point they will usually start looking your way again, if they're trying to win at least. Some folks, they just want to see that world burn and will be so butthurt that they're just gonna sell for the rest of the game. It is what it is. It's almost as if they are punishing you with them going 0 for 4 and having 3 turnovers in the first quarter. And now because they are trash, the whole team has to suffer, you know? And then if you are one of the lucky few who when the fourth quarter starts up and your teammates see that they need you in order to win the game at hand, well naturally at this point, you're out of your game because you've been sitting in the corner the past 10 minutes frustrated, watching the circus that is your teammates performing. But when you do get that ball, either you're gonna pass it right back while telling them to go fuck themselves, or you're gonna be so far out of your game that you're missing wide open shots that you normally would hit. But one thing for sure, player of the game is probably not happening. Moving on though, the next brutal truth on this list, actually it took me some time to realize, especially because when I first started out playing 2K, I would be on here watching all the YouTubers and streamers getting after it on the court, so I assumed it was the same for everyone. But I was sadly mistaken, as when it comes to the offense in Random Rec, it is basic level at best, and most of the time, it is straight up chaotic. I mean, there's no plays being run, of course, I get that. It's randoms and all. But just folks' motion and the way that they move around the court makes one wonder if these randoms have ever watched a game of basketball before, or even know the basics of the game besides put ball in hole. Perfect example. The inbounder's man is pressing the inbound and we beat it. Now us and the inbounder are speeding up court, the two of us essentially having a 2-on-1 with our defender. Well, tell me why instead of sprinting to the paint like a bat out of hell, is the inbounder now hauling ass over to set a bullshit ass screen and of course kill the 2-on-1 opportunity. And then when you look up court and see the corner guy whose defender left him in order to possibly help in the paint, well, the corner guy decided that he had to make a friend today and wanted to follow his defender into the paint. So there you go. Instead of a wide open 3, he's clogging the paint, and instead of an easy alley-oop, the inbounder is screening your defender and giving his man's time to set back up. And you know the crazy insane part is that all of that I just described would probably be considered decent offense in Random Rec, because 90% of what you're gonna see over there in Random Rec is gonna be a cutting and screening fest and just a bunch of madness as everyone wants the ball on offense. They are practically following whoever has the ball in their hand around the court. Now, these are just some of the brutal truths about wrecking with random that most folks find out about too late. If you have any other brutal truths about Rec Center or randoms in general that you feel you found out too late or people in general find out too late, let me know down in the comment section. And until we meet up on that virtual hardwood, luck out. Peace.